Next on Worcester News tonight, a friendly bet on Super Bowl 53. It's the center of Massachusetts versus the center of California. Plus, a Worcester man story on how he lost more than 200 pounds and gained a career. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A quiet start to the work week, but there could be some potential for snow Tuesday into Wednesday. And there are cold temperatures in the forecast this week. Here's meteorologist Tim Kelly with a first look at our local forecast.
Dual storms, one over the Great Lakes with frigid air you've heard about in northern Minnesota, going back down to 20 to 40 below zero late tonight and tomorrow. And a storm missing us to the east. So we're going to kind of thread this needle for about another 24 hours. A little bit of a snow may work in off the ocean near Boston and Cape Cod. We have clouds overhead now. Those clouds tending to sort of dim the stars a bit overnight. You see a snow flurry trying to come down the Mass Pike from the east. About 18 degrees when we wake up tomorrow morning, so it's plenty cold outside. Tomorrow the clouds are kind of coming in at us from both on the ocean and from the west. There's snow developing in the Berkshires. Here we are 3 o'clock in the afternoon, pretty close to 29 with a few snowflakes around. And then there may be a burst of snow tomorrow evening about 7 or 8 o'clock. So it is going to turn icy tomorrow night and first thing Wednesday. Wednesday we cool off and then Thursday we go frigid. Full forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Tim. Two community leaders are taking part in a friendly bet for Super Bowl 53. It's the center of Massachusetts, Rutland, versus a city in the center of California. The two have never met each other, but hope this rivalry will form a new friendship. Our Chandler Walsh joins us from Rutland now with the story. Chandler?
Olivia, Rutland's administrator is new to town, but he's always been a Patriots fan. Confident in his team, he called up a city in California to make this bet, and though they were shocked to hear from him, they were all in.
All the way.
Patriots fans in Rutland are confident in a win against the Los Angeles Rams at Super Bowl 53.
They've been counted out a few times and just keep coming back.
So is their new town administrator, Michael Nicholson. He's made a friendly bet with a city in California.
Any way to show off the Patriots to anyone else is always a fun time for me.
The town of Rutland is the geographic center of the state of Massachusetts. Their counterpart in California is the city of Madera.
Found that information out there and then went to the city of Madera's website and called the city manager from there, and everything got rolling.
Whichever municipality's team loses will have to send a gift basket filled with local goods from their area. Both places are hoping their state's team wins, but have an idea of what they'd send.
Some form of maple products, a couple of staple things from Massachusetts. There'll definitely be something Patriots in that basket as well.
We'll definitely have some great California wine, some raisins, some nuts. We're also in the same county as Yosemite, one of the wonders of the world, and so I'm sure there would be something in there.
Madera's mayor says he never expected to hear from a local leader across the country. He hopes this sparks an unlikely friendship.
I would like to send that basket anyway, and hopefully through this gift basket they might know a little bit more about Madera and who we are.
Nicholson just started his position in Rutland this month. He says the wager will be a great way to jump into his new role.
Fun way to, one, get to meet people in the town, two, see what the town has to offer outside of what I already knew.
Madera's mayor does think the Rams will win 27-21, but he did say he'd never discount Tom Brady and his skill. Live in Rutland, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
A Brookline doctor is facing multiple charges after Auburn police pulled him over Sunday night. Police say 42-year-old Kang Liu was arrested for offering to engage in sex for a fee and for possession of a firearm without a license. Liu told officers he was not required to carry a license because it was his, quote, constitutional right. He was held without bail and is due back in court on Thursday. One of three men convicted in the killing of Paxton Police Chief Robert Mortel in 1994 is seeking parole. Kenneth Padgett is sentenced to life in prison for the chief's murder. He will go before the state parole board in Natick Tuesday. The chief, 38 at the time of his death, was looking for three men who had stolen a truck at gunpoint after breaking into two houses. Chief Mortel was killed in exchange of gunfire with Padgett and the two other men. A fictional story outlines a way to remove a president without impeaching him. It's the basis of a book from a retired Worcester lawyer. He says he got the idea from real events. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us now to explain. Brittany?
Olivia, the book is fiction, but the law is all facts. Author Burton Chandler says firing the president instead of impeaching him would be a quicker and easier process. A retired Worcester lawyer outlines how to get President Donald Trump out of office in his new book. Burton Chandler published How an Individual Citizen Can Legally Fire, Not Impeach the President earlier this month.
I made this book, deliberately made it as a textbook for a lawyer who wants to do it.
Chandler says it all starts with taking the president to court by filing a writ of mandamus. It basically orders a government official to fulfill their duties. Next would be using the 25th Amendment, where presidential power can be assigned to the vice president if the president becomes incapacitated. Chandler believes President Trump is mentally unstable and there's probable cause for removing him from office.
A serial liar. He contradicts himself all the time. He has no experience. He does things that are inconsistent with ordinary rationale and everything else. I ultimately spoke to a few psychiatrists, and they are definitely out there. They're willing to testify.
The 84-year-old says during the court hearings, Congress could order the president to take a mental examination. He says adding this to the Mueller investigation, sexual misconduct allegations, and a Democratic House would be too much to handle.
He's got such an enormous load on his back that I can see him deciding to look America square in the face and say, you don't deserve this, but I decide I don't need this garbage. I quit. Good luck to all of you. And that's what I think might happen.
Chandler says people from across the country have reached out to him about the novel. He says he believes multiple lawyers will take on the task.
I would think that there would be copycat cases brought all over the country. I got a copy of the proposed complaint in there. You could file your writ of mandamus within a week. That'd be the first one to send him a letter of congratulations.
And Chandler says the book only took him a few months to write, and he's not worried about any potential criticism. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Right now, about 800,000 federal workers are back on the job. The federal government opening back up today after the longest shutdown in U.S. history. And according to the Congressional Budget Office, the shutdown cost the economy $11 billion. Overall, the CBO says economic growth will also slow this year to 2.3% compared with 3.1% last year. And the government could close again in just 3 weeks if congressional Democrats and President Trump can't reach a deal. The White House still pushing for $5.7 billion for a border wall, and Democrats are not budging.
We are building the wall right now, a portion of it. We have to go further.
Why did we have supported, as you know, enhanced fencing, and I think that's something that's reasonable that should be on the table.
New NBC News Wall Street Journal poll on President Trump's job approval is out. 43% of Americans approve the president's job since December, and 54% disapprove. Meanwhile, the White House says the president does not want to declare a national emergency and use Pentagon funds to build a wall, but it is still possible. In central Massachusetts, Senator Michael Moore is one of 7 appointed to a working group examining the challenges federal workers and their families are facing in light of the government shutdown. He says nearly 8,000 federal workers in Massachusetts had been out of work since the shutdown began more than 1 month ago.
We want to make sure they have housing, we want to make sure they have food, they make sure they have access to health care. Those right now are the most immediate things. The last thing we want is to have a family or someone who would be being put out of their homes, put on the street, and again, not due to any fault of their own, but due to politics that have taken place down in D.C.
Senator Moore says the group will also evaluate proposals designed to extend unemployment insurance. A Worcester man is thanking a gym franchise for help with his fitness journey. At more than 400 pounds, he knew something needed to be done, but he never expected to then work for the same gym. Our Rosalind Flaherty joins us now with his story. Rosalind.
Olivia, he started his journey at Planet Fitness and lost 200 pounds. Now he wants to help others achieve their weight loss goals. Joe Mucci has no problem getting on a treadmill to run. but it wasn't always easy. As a teenager, he weighed 400 pounds.
It seemed almost impossible to actually lose the weight.
He knew he needed to make a change because daily tasks were becoming difficult.
You can't do all the stuff that all your friends are doing. They're all at the New England sports games running to the subway. Meanwhile, you can't run to the subway. You're sitting there like heavily walking or slowly walking.
Moochie joined a Planet Fitness in New Hampshire and started to see results. 10 years later, he's lost more than 200 pounds.
A weight loss journey doesn't stop once you hit your goal. It continues on.
The 28-year-old manages a franchise in Worcester, hoping to help others like him achieve their goals.
It's all about making them see the ability to change, see the little things, even the small things, like, guess what, going home, and it does happen with a healthy diet, but like you go home and instead of grabbing that pint of ice cream in the freezer, make a salad at night.
He says this is a busy time of year with people trying to stick to New Year's resolutions. He wants people to see if he can do it, others can too.
It motivates you to show up the next day because you were like, hey, I was healthy the whole day yesterday and the whole week. Let me go back to the gym, see how far I can actually take this.
Even though it is the end of January, he says there is still time to start your fitness resolution. Rutland Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Care One at Millbury hosting its first ever farm-to-table event showcasing their Hydroponics grow system. Care One is the first skilled nursing facility in all of New England to offer farm-to-table food from Evan Lee Organics. Today, a 2445 Organics greenhouse truck was on site to showcase the herbs and veggies, which are also grown inside the nursing facility. Residents at Care One are part of a culinary club who plan meals with veggies and herbs grown with Hydroponics.
Put them all in the middle. So it's a recreation program. They love the activity. Many people, have gardened for their lifetime, and they can still continue to do that, and also benefit from the nutrition and having this food that they can eat that's very healthy.
And the Worcester County House of Corrections also uses Hydroponics from Evan Lee and has had great success with it this past year.